Egypt reaffirms steadfast support for Sudan. Egypt's foreign minister travels to Paris to support Dr. Khaled El-Enany's candidacy for the UNESCO Director General. Egypt's planning minister reports stronger Q4 momentum with governance steps to tighten public investment. Acting on the directives of Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati met with Sudan's Abdel Fattah el-Burhan in Port Sudan, reaffirming Egypt's steadfast support. Abdelati conveyed President el-Sisi's greetings, noting this is his third visit this year, and underscored solidarity with Sudan's sovereignty, security, and armed forces. He highlighted joint work on a ceasefire, economic cooperation, and Nile water security. El-Burhan praised Egypt's consistent backing and historic fraternal ties. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has reaffirmed Egypt's backing for Sudan's unity, sovereignty, and armed forces, while stressing Cairo's active engagement in ceasefire and humanitarian initiatives. That came as he met the Sudanese Prime Minister Kamel Idris in Port Sudan. Abdelati said his third visit to the city within a year underscored Egypt's solidarity with Sudan and support for the government efforts to restore stability. Both sides discussed enhancing economic and trade ties, convening joint forums, facilitating Sudanese in the Egypt, and reaffirmed their united Nile stance against unilateral actions. And Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has met the Sudanese Foreign Minister in Port Sudan. Abdelati reaffirmed the deep ties between the two nations, highlighting Egypt's active role in efforts to halt the fighting and secure humanitarian relief. He stressed Egypt's solidarity with Sudan's unity, sovereignty, and institutions, particularly its armed forces. Discussions also covered joint support for lifting the siege of El-Fasher, expanding economic and trade cooperation, and maintaining a unified Nile position, rejecting unilateral measures and underscoring adherence to international law. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati travels to Paris as part of Egypt's campaign to support Dr. Khaled El-Enany's candidacy for the UNESCO Director General. The UNESCO Executive Board will hold the elections on October the 6th. During his visit, Abdelati will also meet French officials to discuss strengthening bilateral ties and exchanging views on regional issues of mutual concern. The trip underscores Egypt's commitment to advancing its candidate and reinforcing cooperation with France in cultural, political, and regional matters. And Egypt's ambassador to Burkina Faso, Mohamed El Ghazawi, has met the Interior and Security Minister Mahmoudou Sana to discuss strengthening counter-terrorism cooperation. The talks reviewed Egypt's ongoing support, including specialized training provided by the Egyptian Agency for Partnership for Development and the Police Academy to enhance the capabilities of the security forces of Burkina Faso. The ambassador noted progress towards signing new MOUs on counter-terrorism and organized crime, alongside preparations for reciprocal high-level security visits. Minister Sana expressed appreciation for Egypt's steadfast support and valued the close bilateral ties. And Egypt's ambassador to Ghana, Wael Fathi, has met Ghana's finance minister and acting defense minister in Accra to discuss boosting bilateral ties, investment and trade. And talks reference the minister's recent visit to Cairo to study Egypt's experience in national infrastructure projects. Both sides agreed to launch the first highway linking Accra and Kumasi to be built by an Egyptian company. The ambassador emphasized setting a clear action plan, showcased Egypt's investment reforms, and stressed the Egyptian company's commitment to investing in Ghana for mutual benefit. And Egypt's irrigation minister Hani Soueilam told the cabinet today that a Nile flood surge has raised inflows in recent days, impacting parts of Sudan as authorities activate safeguards and warn against encroachment on the river's protected banks. Soueilam outlined preparedness steps, saying governors were earlier notified to evacuate violations on river strip lands that form part of the Nile's protected zone. He warned these areas may be submerged during the current flood period because they are integral to the river's hydraulic cross-section. The minister said Egypt has repeatedly cautioned that increased flows are partly linked to unilateral Ethiopian actions. Agencies are monitoring levels and enforcing removals to protect lives, property, and navigation. And ruler of the Fujairah, Hamad bin Mohammed El-Sharqi, has received the Egyptian Minister of Petroleum, Karim Badawi, and his delegation during their visit to Fujairah. And Badawi has highlighted Egypt's commitment to deepening ties with the UAE, focusing on expanding investments in energy, petroleum, and gas sectors. From his side, El-Sharqi has emphasized the strong political and economic relations between the two countries, noting major ongoing projects in the real estate, tourism, and Egypt's oil and gas sectors. By the end of their meeting, the Egyptian minister expressed pride in the strategic partnership between Egypt and the UAE, which serves as a model for Arab cooperation. And Badreddin Petroleum has successfully produced Egypt's first locally made 17.5-inch drill head, marking a key milestone in localizing drilling equipment. The drill head, designed for the company, will be completed in the coming weeks and helping reduce imports and save foreign currency. The company has also announced successful trials of refurbished drill heads with Development Petroleum. This initiative supports Egypt's goal of fostering innovation, creating jobs, and reducing carbon emissions. The project is backed by the Ministry of Petroleum and the EGPC, with a 3D model of the new drill head showcased at the event. And Egypt's Minister of Social Solidarity, Dr. Maya Morsi, has participated in the 9th Annual Mediterranean Central Banks Conference in Cairo, focusing on innovation and integration for sustainable development. She has emphasized Egypt's commitment to financial inclusion and social protection, highlighting the success of the Takaful and Karama program, which supports over 7.8 million families. Morsi has also discussed the groundbreaking Social Security Law 2025, transforming temporary support into a permanent right. Additionally, she outlined Egypt's efforts to foster economic empowerment through strategic partnerships and digital financial inclusion aimed at boosting entrepreneurship and access to financing. Egypt's Senate Speaker Abdel Wahab Abdel Razik said President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's efforts at home and abroad inspire national pride, and citing mega projects, social programs, human capital investment, and restored security. Speaking after opening the 6th regular session of the first legislative term, Abdel Razik listed modern roads, new cities, and social initiatives that have touched millions. He highlighted attention to education, healthcare, and digital literacy, and wider participation for youth and women. On security, he said Egypt defeated terrorism and stabilized the country. And externally, he praised Egypt's regained regional and international standing, stronger Arab and African ties, advocacy for Africa in global forums, and durable partnerships with major powers in support of peace and stability. Egypt's House of Representatives approved the report on President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's objections to parts of the Criminal Procedure Bill and formed a special committee to redraft the flagged articles. Minister Mahmoud Fawzi said the constitutional step serves citizens by strengthening safeguards and human rights. Only 8 of more than 540 articles are in question, reflecting a balanced draft. The committee, chaired by the Deputy Speaker, begins work on Saturday. The general session is adjourned until it completes a more precise and balanced text. And Egypt's Drug Authority Chief Ali El-Ghamraoui met Sudan's NMPB Secretary General Ali Babikair in Cairo, reaffirming historic ties and plans to expand regulatory cooperation and shared pharmaceutical security across Africa. El-Ghamraoui welcomed the Sudanese delegation and called the NMPB a key strategic partner amid shared challenges to ensure safe, effective, high-quality medicines. He said the EDA will share regulatory and technical expertise, exchange best practices, and help strengthen registration, manufacturing, oversight, and market surveillance. Babikair praised the EDA's progress and sought broader cooperation to upgrade Sudan's health and pharma systems. Senior officials from both sides attended, underscoring a drive towards sustainable health security and regional integration. Cairo's historic El-Azbakiyya Book Market has reopened after a major renovation, unveiling 133 new kiosks, orderly aisles, and spaces for cultural events. A fixture since 1907, the market returned with a student competition design that blends modern infrastructure with European-style features while preserving the site's heritage. Aisles now carry names of Egyptian literary icons, and the upgrade is part of the wider plan to revive the Khedivio Cairo, officials say. At today's cabinet meeting, the planning minister Rania El-Mashat reported stronger Q4 momentum, 5% quarterly growth, inflation easing to 12% in August 2025, and reserves at a record of $49.2 billion, with governance steps to tighten public investment. El-Mashat said fiscal year growth hit 4.4%, with Q4 led by non-oil manufacturing, plus 18.8%, tourism, a plus 19.3%, and ICT, a plus 14.6%. Non-oil exports rose 13.7%, remittances a plus 66.2%, a primary surplus reached 629.2 billion Egyptian pounds, 3.6% of the GDP. Suez Canal receipts fell on Red Sea risks, extraction declined, but stabilized late year. New decrees set a cap and committee to govern public investment and crowd in private capital. Egypt's weather authority says Friday, October the 3rd, starts mild, turns hot across most regions and very hot in South Upper Egypt and South Sinai with a mild night. Expect morning mist from 4 to 8 a.m. on roads from the north to Greater Cairo, North Upper Egypt, Canal cities and Central Sinai. A slight chance of light showers over parts of the northwest coast. Low clouds from the north to Cairo may bring brief non-impact drizzle. Daytime suspended dust is possible over exposed areas of Greater Cairo and the Delta. Brisk winds along the northwest coast will ease the heat and shade, and at night, while blowing, sand may affect the western desert and southern districts at times. And that's the end of our news bulletin for this hour, and here's a quick recap of today's top stories. Egypt reaffirms steadfast support for Sudan. Egypt's foreign minister travels to Paris to support Dr. El-Enany's candidacy for the UNESCO Director General. And Egypt's planning minister reports stronger Q4 momentum with governance steps to tighten public investment. And that's all for now, and remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments.